I don't know if it's going to catch on. I really don't, but I
It's
appreciate
not.
that you're trying your best to make sure that it does. We're ready to jump into the game in just a little bit. And Tom, I got to say, after that little bit of an upset, certainly in the way we were predicting things, and I think what most people would have thought, with Heretics beating NIP and putting them down to the lower bracket, it's anyone's game, right? Maybe Sue's got it on the head. I will say that when it comes to predictions over these last 2 days, or this game and the last one, we've been comfortably saying that they are very tight series, you know, maybe 60-40. For FPX, I'm gonna say about 70-30, but I have to favor them. They're just such a strong team.
Yeah, for sure. I think that you'd be mad not to. I'm excited to see the move back to Breach as well. I wonder if that's just a counter pick. Like, okay, my opponent's going to play Breach, I'll play it as well, because we recently did see Shadow move not only to Sova initially, but then also to Lothar's Sky. So the fact that they've gone back might be because they got caught off by Guild, but at the same time, I think this is Shadow's agent. Like, I want to see him on Breach. I think he may be the best Breach even in the world. I think he's fantastic on this agent.
He really is something to behold. You know, we mentioned earlier, if you want to learn how to play the game, don't look at Nuke, because you probably can't do what he can do. But Shadow, this is definitely someone you could learn from. You could take notes from. His decision-making and his support is fantastic.
Don't watch Angel either.
I will say you won't learn, you won't be able to match Shadow's aim. That's almost certain. But, you know, you can only strive for perfection.
Yeah, of course. You got to have goals. That's always a good thing. But as said, yeah, don't copy Angel, because there are things that Angel does as a controller which I can't believe. And this is some of them. Very aggressive. Always going to be taking space, taking information for his side. What is this crosshair from Hoppy? This is hurting my eyes. I'm sorry, I can't leave that alone. 25 seconds left, though. Classic FPX style. They love a slow round, they love a peek, but it's definitely risky, and look at Akuma's spot. It could be rough.
It definitely could be. Akuma gets dropped on, literally. Players all over him as Angel picks another Dimisic from above, dealing death. 7 seconds on the clock, a 2v5 retake, and Takis goes down in just the same manner. Poor old Hoppy left alone, baits them into some peaks, but Shadow, hello, jumps on top for a flawless round. 1-0. FPX pick up the opening, and now this is it's a good start to the attack, but they'll have to avoid what is always a scary proposition. DFUSE could take a force buy, or at least some lighter pistols, still try to deal that damage.
Yeah, for sure. I remember in particular there was this one round versus a team that I can't quite remember. Do you know who they are? Like they lost. I think it was a 1v4 to a Sheriff. Like I think it begins with an A. Aliens or something like that. Either way, I'll be honest with you, Mitch. Like, I love you. You're my friend, but I don't think FPX are going to be making the same level of mistakes that Alliance did versus those pistols. I would be blown away. They are one of the most regimented teams we have in Valorant. They have been together for a long time as a core. If they lost to pistols, I would be very surprised, but there is a good stack here.
100% agree with you on that point, Tom. And yeah, for FPX, they're up against a heavier stack than they would have liked, but Rodin's been taken down and the other player walled off. So site secured, plan secured, and with this, all they have to do is play the range that now desperately favors them. Takis trying to tickle up players from afar, but he finds a quick bullet to the head in exchange for his efforts. And Dimisic, with that Vandal, really wants to be carrying it forward. Like, if you're FPX, you don't want to lose any more players. It's a win for DFUSE if they can drop a second guy, and that's exactly why they're still sitting around here trying to take these fights, but it's just not going to happen. Shadow and Shao close it out, and now a bonus round is afoot for FPX, because they're not going to upgrade all of these weapons. They're going to sit pretty with what they've got. Have a ghost in the hands of Angel, everyone else sticking with the weapons from the previous round, and try to upset DFUSE. And on the attacking side, Tom, especially on a map like Split, it's doable. I'm actually seeing Angel invest into a Vandal as well.
Yeah, considering of how aggressive the Angel actually plays into middle, I don't mind that at all. Like, he is someone who will open up rounds for you. He leads by example, almost literally, like not even just in the theoretical sense. Like, he's going to be the one taking control, making those pushes, and that's because he has a very good lineup behind him. Dimisic Lurk is going to be something that's really tough to deal with. He is annoying to play against, to say the least. And again, this has to be something they expect. We know that this man is going to try and take ropes control. The only question I have throughout this map is how are DFUSE going to deal with it?
The answer to that is only a couple of seconds away. Roden, on his way through ropes, wants to take aggressive control, and he gets himself one. But that is all. Versus FPX, retaking ropes is always risky. And to be honest, that trade is not good. It gives a weapon upgraded to FPX, and you lose one of your own. Remember, on these bonus rounds, we don't expect a lot from FPX. If they can take it close and grab themselves 3 kills, I think that's pretty standard. Oh, nice flash. Great peek. Akuma falls off the edge to safety, but now he's under pressure. Angel out wide, caught off, but Zipan good for the trade around the back of sight. This is what we love watching FPX for. This is exactly why they're one of the best teams. Watch them take fights. Watch them in these hectic situations. They're always ready to trade off of each other. There's always 2 guys or one about to swing up behind you whenever you take that fight. And Takas tickled up in a solo duel, but it's a bait. They want these guys to swing out, so the shots in the back from Zipan can land. 3-0, textbook by FPX. And an upset for DFUSE as they fail to beat down the bonus.
Let's keep them counting. That's the first clutch. And this... And I have to be honest, I understand why that's the hard clear that they go for, not knowing exactly where Zipan's going to be. But your chance of winning that is 0% because you both peek in the same way. You almost have to try and check the other angle first, take a deeper peek to make sure there isn't anyone facing, and it's not gone well for them. We will see them now invest a bit more into Sheriffs, but this is a scary scenario already, and you're thinking, Tom, it's 3-0. Like, come on, man, give them a chance, give them a way back into this game, but this is a huge financial bonus. This is mostly the kills going the way of FPX as well, so they've built up a reasonable amount of ultimates, and they have a lot of fairly strong ones in their mix as well. What I will say, the gamble stack that has come out again, we mentioned it in the round before, is almost perfect again from DFUSE, and hey, those pistols are coming up trumps once again.
You might be confused at the name you're reading, because Hoppy is definitely happy right now. He's coming in with those Sheriff shots. Whoop! Not going to do too much damage as it doesn't land. Forcing out a res in a round like this, you're already winning. You've already done exactly what you needed to do. You took weapons away. You took an ultimate that's very impactful out of the game. And now anything from this point forward is a plus for DFUSE. They force back the A push. There's a 2-man stack, but it's Angel. This man always takes space. He's either pushing in a rope room or taking upper B, but you can be sure that he is taking space somewhere on the map. And right now, that's what gives them the freedom to rotate to B so quickly. They know middle is clear. All they have to worry about is B main, which will quickly be cleared up. And now they know.
30 seconds left.
They've got that plant, and it's a nice easy post plant rather for them up against these weak weapons.
And Zipan, he's not actually going to stick around too long, mainly because he wants to have the late lurk into middle, but also if he was caught in that scenario, it's a rifle, it's a free ult point as well for the opposition, so not really anything necessary. They just want to try and keep their players up and basically not allow for the things that make DFUSE so scary, like all those bonus weapons, all the extra guns, maybe even the operator thrown in onto Takas, something we know can do severe amounts of damage. They retrieved the rifle at least for a second, but Angel's deep control is already going to drop one, and Roden not connecting the shot. 4-0 start for FPX, but this is where we need to start seeing a turnaround, because although I have heavy belief that FPX can take a pretty decent amount of rounds on the attacking side, I'm not sure I have the same level of belief in what DFUSE can do.
I can agree with you there. And you know, if FPX 4-0 up, they win this, it's probably 6 on the board. Like, you can already see the protocols that they have for dealing with these pistols. Every fight they took, there were 2 players on the angle. There was no situation in which you could fire a shot of a Sheriff and instantly and even get a second bullet out before you were peaked and dead. Nice attempt by Takas to dash out of there, but the shot was missed. That's the map control lost and a valuable potential opening on the floor. Of course, that operator in the hands of Jet is dangerous, but once the dash disappears, it can be beaten by just standard 2-man peeking.
So low? I wonder if there was initial battle on the B side of the map as well, because he's tagged almost to death, and not having a Sage themselves, they can't get any of that HP back. Takas, though, the rotational operator, a player to fear for sure, especially when it comes onto ladder maps. Like, I think he's someone who can entry frag in incredible fashion. He's got his first hit, looks for the second, but the ice wall will deny him. There is still a player in the site, but there's a good opportunity for FPX to isolate this kill. Hoppy will take one, but now it's on to Roden.
Dimisic didn't clear it, but Angel always does. Roden with 16 HP, and he's been approached on, but Shadow is dropped straight away. They're looking for him. On the push forward, and that timing almost cost Xiao his life as they come on out, rushing into the hands of Angel. They quickly dispatch him. Xiao now on 5 HP. The blast pack, more than enough to finish him off. And big round from Roden there with 16 health. Tucked up an elbow as the side is pushed. His teammates smoked off. He still gets a double kill out of that.
Yeah, these are the sort of plays we want to see from DFUSE. I think one of the things you really have to give this roster credit for is that they almost remind me of like the classic FPS like French team. Like they seem to have all the pieces they need. Everybody can pull up on individual skill. There's no questions about that at all. But it's also the synergy that they have. And I think going into the attack, that's where they will thrive. That's where they can have those big rounds. The problem is FPX are also a master of the defense. Like, it's where players like Dimisic can basically just destroy you. And in terms of individual skill, please, Mitch, try and point me out a weak link of this FPX side.
Yeah, I don't know that that's possible, you know? I'd love to go with the good old narrative. Oh, the old guy, right? Angel IGLing that. No, not a chance. This guy, he's so aggressive. He does so much. And right now, what do I always say this when I watch FPX on Split. Angel in ropes. It's expected. You know he's going to do it. He loves taking this control. And teams, in my opinion, they don't do nearly enough to deny it from him. They now have off one smoke that refreshes in the round. They have an insane amount of middle control. That is the kind of investment that you cannot afford to have that kind of high return.
We've seen the switch up of utility. A lot of the time, we'll see this as well from Logan when there's going to be a more aggressive peak towards B. Like, he'll put his utility up towards the heavens to try and deny anybody from making a quick switch up when they take B control. This time, though, it's more just to try and deny mid. I think that's just a straight up counter to the way that FPX play. And they have had to double back in towards what looks like a straight B hit. The problem is, again, Angel's going to do some work. And actually, the rest of the push now begins.
Barreling forward, looking for duels, but Logan awaits them right into his arms as he swings for more. That fault line perfectly catching Dimisic and leaving it all onto Shadow. Logan with the 4K and the first of many to come, I'm sure. An insanely strong individual. He's never missed out of the conversation when you talk about DFUSE. And now he's just gotten started.
Yeah, he's the rock of this team. I think when the going gets tough and when they start to struggle in situations, he somehow pulls rounds out of absolutely nowhere. But also, it's not one of those players where you look at him and go, oh, he's got great individual skill, but doesn't know how to use any of his utility. In fact, I would say that in terms of what we watch on Killjoy, like a proper Killjoy player, like his nano swarms are normally well placed, his turret is normally used to try and hold off in rotations. And actually, one thing we sort of criticize a lot for Killjoy players, he's actually good on the attack with a lot of that utility as well.
Guess who's in rope room, Tom? Have a guess. Have a gander. You know, for DFUSE, I'm interested to see because they're... Oh, yeah. Shadow loves going there. we had that combo. For DFUSE, you know, giving up this much control in the early round, I'm impressed with their previous, but that was down to a big play by Logan. There was some support there for sure, but I want to see how they do this consistently because at the moment, FPX, they don't have to commit anything to worrying, not just about mid, but about lurks as well, about flanks coming through. Zipan gets to the site, but he's delayed by these nano swarms and can't find anybody he's thinking about having. He doesn't pull the trigger on it eventually. Oh, doesn't get there in time.
No.
It wouldn't have killed anyone anyways. They're a little bit too far away. The plan to come through nice and open. This is dangerous now. These guys can actually play this post plant from inside of B main if they want to, with Angel still having that mid control. As we said, it's a problem not just for the setup but for the retake. He can come in on a very late flank now.
They've got so many ultimates for this retake, though. DFUSE are going to invest an awful lot to try and deny this. The paint shells don't actually stop the lockdown either, so they have to leave. They have to negate the site. Now, Dimisic does manage to pick one up, but he's caught. And as he's isolated, now it comes down to the almost retake of their own site. Zipan will pick off one, but the remaining two players are a little bit further behind. It's the DFUSE already starting, and they need to try and deny it. The spray comes through, and Shadow, he's going to find himself both. FPX managed managed to hold down the site. And it has to be said, Mitch, there was an awful lot put in there from DFUSE. They invested every single one of the ultimates they had online, and they still don't get the round.
Yeah, that's one of these real head in hands kind of rounds. You almost had it as well. It came so close, but ultimately that 4-second cloud burst, it just doesn't conceal you for long enough to allow RNG to even come into it. He's able to easily take the frag. And FPX up on 5 puts DFUSE again in a pretty awkward spot. They've lost a lot of their ultimates, as you said, Tom. And with that, going to be feeling pretty deflated coming into this. Also, economy ain't great. So it's just pistols and a bucky. Now, I'm kind of surprised. Yet again, I think if you do some looking into how FPX play this map, Angel's gonna go rope room. I don't think anyone should be surprised by that. This is where I'd love to see the bookie playing in this position. But they've actually managed to headshot him once and then again coming in with the sheriff. First was through the wall, and the second grants the kill. That map control finally denied, and Takas with the dash takes out Dimisic. A fantastic start to such a weak buy round, but there is a res online.
Yeah, Angel's been absolutely wrecked. And if he gets rezzed here, he's going to be back with a vengeance. You don't do that to Angel and get away with it. There's going to be a scowl on his face and probably a bullet in yours in a matter of seconds. The thing is, though, this is still having to be a response from FPX, because they are still a man down. The weaponry hasn't really improved. Roden's still with the solitary rifle available. But other than that, everyone else is still standing. Dimisic lost, so the lurk is no longer in play. But they haven't actually taken that much control. And because of that, the 2 players remaining on this B site are going to be in a fair amount of trouble.
That push coming through has already seen a couple of victims, and for FPX, they've invested again a lot into this one, but DFUSE certainly haven't. Logan's got the position in B main, and he's going to wait out. He knows it's not time to make the push and sacrifice himself for the cause. Instead, he'll wait for his teammates who have those big guns to mount up this retake and then come in from behind. Here we go, shut down, but he uses himself as bait. A selfless Logan, but he only gets 1 kill. There we go. Trade back to Shadow, and DFUSE easily connected. I thought that could have been the clutch play from Shadow with the HP of Hoppy especially. It comes down to a quickly hit shot from heaven to put 3 on the board for DFUSE, and a thrifty round of all things.
Yeah, and hopefully that'll put the wind in their sails as well. Like, let's be real, 5 rounds for FPX on the attack is probably enough. Like, they can make this work. It's not like they're going to be in panic mode if they lose the remainder. I also doubt, though, that they will lose the remainder. Like, chances are we're going to see them steal a round away. Financially, though, they're now in an awkward spot. And we've seen a bucky on one side. It's now going to go in onto the other side as well, with Shadow picking one up. He is normally more of the supportive agent, though, for this team. So I'll expect to see, well, probably the same sort of stuff we've witnessed already. Constant mid control, maybe a little bit of a lurk on the other side of the map. And I think they're trying to deny the aggression of Logan. He's pushed into this spot now on B multiple times. That's a fantastic fault line, though. Already 1 man taken down. And if they can get that far forward, that's an operator.
That it is. Secured and taken.
I have the spike.
Oh, potentially. The one thing about this round, they've stopped Angel going into ropes. At least there's an upside there. The movement from FPX towards B main comes to no surprise from DFUSE. They've pushed all the way into A. They know that this side is a side of the map. There we go. Is completely clear. And so these players just need to position themselves well. The flash ready for a peek to come through. Akuma would be in a bit of trouble, though, if they decide to walk out. The turret is watching them, but now that it's been alerted, I'm surprised Akuma's still standing there. There's the peek. Zipan, good for a kill. Logan looking for a bit more. He's trapped down below and being pressured on all sides. He'll eventually fall, but enough damage done, surely. The spike down in the open as Shadow looks to push over and get it. He's being delayed because that flank from Hoppy, it's been going on for a minute. Oh, he even uses Rolling Thunder. He needs to win this clutch now. The investment he's made, he turns behind and catches Hoppy, ready for the flank, moving closer. They won't suspect this. Great repositioning, big brain, and big kills. Shadow gets 6 on the board for FPX.
He's just so smart in his read of the game. Like, knew where one of the players was, switches to find the second as well, perfectly positioned in every single one of those duels. And I don't feel like the way that... It's not like a beatdown. That's not the way that Shadow plays Valorant, it's like surgical precision. It's like he slit the right artery and you're just slowly dying and you don't even know it yet. Like, it is beautiful to watch the way he plays. And he's currently top of the board. Like, I was mentioning him a round ago as the support player, but I mean supportive to his teammates. It doesn't mean he can't frag out at any moment.
Absolutely, Tom. We've talked about it, and it's great when you hit those little storylines and then they come connect, and Shadow not letting us down in those moments. Now look at Logan, though. We talked about him in the past. He's going to let raise a little bit too far. Oh, no. The Bookie right clicks, they're powerful. We've seen Bookie FC in the past, but on that kind of range, it's hit or miss, and I guess he missed.
Yeah, they had their one sort of cheesy round with what was a weaker investment. They're going for another one here, DFUSE. The change of pace, though, from FPX. We've seen slow, methodical rounds all the way through. They finally pick it up, but there has been a pick back. And actually, Hoppy's found a second. This is getting close for comfort. It's left on to just Shao to try and clutch this out. He's going to get hit by the blast back of Roden. You have to have some pretty big balls to make a play like that when he's so close, but he'll get it through. That's now 2 thrifty buy rounds that we've had won by DFUSE.
Yeah, and what's going on with Roden and blast packs in this game? He's using them like secondary nades. It's not something you see all too often. But with the 6-4 that we've got on the board for FPX, you know, you mentioned 5 was probably enough on the attack. At this point, it's worth highlighting that they've got more than 5. If you're bad at maths, that is a larger number. So DFUSE, they need to get these remaining 2 rounds. They've got to connect them. And it starts with a very weak buy from FPX. This should be a guaranteed round for DFUSE.
Yeah, we always say should, though. Just because of the manner in which FPX have been able to win rounds already. Like, bear in mind, there was a 3v4 in a clutch not too long ago. See you later, Angel. We're starting to see some confidence out from DFUSE, though. These last couple of rounds, I believe, have pumped them up a bit. They're starting to actually battle for mid control, not allowing FPX to just have it for free. And while realistically, the last one probably should have been an FPX round. They get an entry into the site. They have after plants. There weren't really ultimates used like a lockdown or anything to force them out. And now we're back to the Logan show. 2 kills to deny them the pressure. Only pistol players left, Mitch. And, wow, are you a believer?
I don't think so. Not in this one, surely. Now, Xiao's going to prove me wrong, but that's close to a dot crosshair. Let's see what he's able to do. Out he goes, looking for one. Oh, he gets it as well. Shadow with the Sheriff. Rez comes in. Heal as well for Xiao. This has just gotten a whole lot scarier than you would have thought. But I'm looking at Roden, and I'm thinking this guy's got a showstopper. If they come out of B, he wrecks them. But they're not, at least for now. They're starting to move to middle. They want to pincer heaven by the looks of things, because Shadow's still sitting on this B site. He's waiting for aggression and waiting to punch in on this site together. This could be the big mistake of the defensive side. Roden gets blinded. He's focused on main, and the side swipe with a classic comes in. Weapon retrieved. FPX on site. I said I didn't believe, and now it's a 3v1 with Takis an op in hand, and he's looking to save. Oh my god, how have FPX done this?
Well, Yinsu, I would like you to clip that and call it evidence of Mitchman's curse, because that couldn't have been any more perfect. Do you believe Mitch? No. And the seconds later, oh, DFUSE. It's all gone wrong. Again, we have to give credit to FPX for being able to pull themselves out of these situations, and I think this is the difference. Like, DFUSE have some players who can bring out incredible rounds, incredible clutch situations, and maybe the teams that they faced so far just didn't quite have the ability to match up against them, whereas FPX are proving that anything you can do, we can do better. And when you're on the attack, trading rounds like this is absolutely fine. Like, you can continue to just build up what is now 7 rounds on their attacking side, and DFUSE will have to more than match that. And going into the next, well, hey, they've got an operator at least, but other than that, I think there's going to be some pieces missing once again.
Sometimes I feel like in Valorant, we should have, you know, the way the freeze time between rounds is like, what, 40 seconds, 45? I feel like it should be 5 minutes, just so we can really talk about the stuff that happens, because Man, this game is crazy, the amount of depth that we've got in Zipan. He's not even popped his ult. He's just running for it. Here's the ult now. It's not even needed. Nade up into heaven. Hoppy takes him down from afar. The bookie range. Put a scope on that thing. Here we go. 2 for him. Almost a third. Good damage done by Hoppy, but it only never mind, 3v2. Not equal numbers anymore. Nade in to do more damage and try to get a kill. Dimisic trying to pull it back. Logan falls from afar. Roden's still up close with 2 players low HP. These are the kind of fights he wins most of the time with a damn blast pack. Mataka supporting him from afar. He can feel comfortable to reposition, to move back and not be caught up close. That spike still stuck on the right side of A. Shadow step available and a smoke through to spawn. They are looking at the A site pretty fondly, and Dimisic in heaven right now. He's going to take a fight into 2. Takis is ready, leaving Angel all by his lonesome.
I love the reposition from DFUSE. Put yourself together, match up, and just make sure there's no individual duel to be had, and also completely switch up where you were initially spotted. They could have just opted to hold onto the site. Instead, they move around, and well, I'll be honest, some of these rounds have been absolute chaos. I'm glad that in this stage we're commentating and not on the desk, because trying to break down what just happened was basically a fist fight on A. So yeah, that was ridiculous, but it's definitely been an enjoyable match. Like, DFUSE have definitely not sat down without a fight.
This is somewhere that they can definitely drop the ball a little bit, and you don't want to lose this map and then go up against FPX. If I heard the analyst desk correctly, on the next, they've only played it once, and we've seen FPX recently, rather. And we've seen FPX recently stray into new maps like Icebox, where they're completely prepared, but you think they're underprepared. So I wouldn't read into how many times they've played it or past results. I think that they're completely ready to demolish on map number 2. For me, DFUSE need to win this one.
Well, yeah, the only data that they have is the 13-4 demolition of Guild. So you're not going to learn much from that other than the fact that Guild got destroyed on Ascent. So also, if FPX are picking it, be scared. Like, be very, very scared. Because if they're picking it over maps like we've seen in the past from Bind or even Haven, which they have a very good record on, you've got to know that this is the map they want to be playing most.
Yeah, I think whenever I just hear FPX in general, I get scared. It makes it very awkward in rehearsals. You know, they're like, okay, next game up is FPX. Ah! Oh, sorry about that. Whew, FPX on defensive side. 7 rounds on the board. They're looking to make it 8. This is a must-win for DFUSE. They got to get back on the board, close in that gap, and make it a nice competitive series. Otherwise, we've seen FPX run away with these games in the past. Give them an inch, they'll take 3 miles. They're not even about that 1 mile stuff. Outburst going out for Takis here. Not too sure where we're aiming with that, making them think they've crossed. But of course, there was a player in heaven watching him. They don't know that he's not there, although they put down the turret. I like it. So free information taken away from the defensive side. They've got upper B, but now it's time to focus up and direct that attack. And the A side seems to be under threat.
Man, the current positions of the defense are not the best. There's a quick rotation coming in. Akuma's actually going to get stunned up, which will at least slow them down. A lot of this comes down to Zipan, however, and he's only going to manage to get 1, so not a bad trade whatsoever. Bullets run out from Akuma, and the breach on breach actually ends with neither falling, and the time is ticking away. The spike dropped again. There's 10 seconds, Mitch, for them to try and turn this back, and it's all falling apart. They've got no time. I think it's all done. Logan has to kill both players, and they're nowhere near each other, and eventually Shah will convert. It started off looking fairly good for DFUSE, but the spike going through heaven ends up being their downfall.
Yeah, it's one of the problems with this map, right? When you send the spike up there when he's coming in from middle, or goes up the ramp is a little less forgivable, but goes from middle, you come through ropes. If you lose that fight, you know, if they cut your your split in half and focus on one side of it, you are screwed. That's exactly what just happened here. In your FPX, 8 rounds, looking up against what should be a low buy again. I don't know. I'm surprised again, DFUSE playing so spread out in the defaults of these pistol rounds. They don't want to commit fully. They're not upping the pace. Instead, they're trying to compete for these ult orbs, one of which has already been taken by Shao.
Just using the wall in these early rounds, there's not much you can do. Somehow, though, Hoppy gets a classic kill. He's not getting out of there. 0% chance. Zipan has him dead to rights in the corner and keeps the man advantage in their favor. Now, knowing that the A site is almost completely locked down, the only thing they have to worry about is ropes. So we see the defense opt to just try and retake mid control. There's no chance for a split coming through. Logan, no! He can't possibly do this again. 3 kills already. Left down to the 1 versus 1. This man is on a mission.
We've seen him do it in the previous series, and maybe we'll see it again, but 50 HP facing off against Xiao, first of all, but a judge in hand. Great position by Logan down below. Oh, he looks away at the wrong moment. Xiao, oh, he tries to knife him! Xiao, what are you doing? The disrespect, and it doesn't pay off. Logan gets the pistol, clutches it, and puts it 8-6.
How does he do it? I don't understand. Like, this many people peeking into him in mid. I'm gonna bet that Xiao didn't know he was there. Like, if he genuinely went for a knife in that situation, he's lost the plot. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, I'm just gonna sit there.
You wouldn't jump down with your knife out otherwise. He has a ghost.
Look, Mitch, let me have this.
No.
I cannot believe that this man went for a knife in a 1v1.
He just tried to knife.
This is for a semi-final spot.
He's just tried to knife a man in Masters. Oh my word. Well, he's just trying. Of all people, Logan.
Of all people.
I mean, come on. This guy wins every clutch he's in. Is that a 4K? Jeez.
Yep. A 1v4.
Man. Hard to play against these guys. It's hard to play against Logan. You know what?
I take it back. Maybe I've got a little bit more respect for Alliance now, because if it can happen to FPX, then maybe it's not so bad.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, playing against Logan is probably the worst thing. You could, like, it's like I have nightmares, you know, sleep paralysis. No, all I see is Logan in the corner of my room with a sheriff. Zipan here, returning 1 at least. Return to sender on this, and Hoppy, well, did they get the weapon? Yeah, they did. Okay, Zipan got it, and he's out of there before Akuma could actually get in and deny it. The spike to be planted. They can mount a retake with this for sure, especially with Akuma isolated in heaven. This is going to be really, really dangerous. They've dropped Angel from behind, and the rest of the players going screens. At this point, you know, I don't really see screens as a favorable fight, even slightly. That nade, perfect on attack as he dashes out, and it's only pistols following the trade, so not a chance. It's all Shadow. And it's off.
Yeah, I think once we see Angel go down, this round is over. Like, as you said, all trying to retake from the same angle. You basically rely on some pretty severe mistakes from DFUSE, and it's just not going to happen. As said, they seem to have very good crossfires, good synergy in these afterplant situations. They had so much control as well. Like, if you can keep control of ramp in an afterplant on the A site, you should never really be losing that round unless every single player falls before that, because it's very, very difficult without that flank to retake on A. So solid stuff from DFUSE. Of course, that was the bonus round. So that was the one after basically mistakes were made. Now we witness the buy come back in for FPX, and hopefully no knife kills.
Hopefully no attempt. I don't mind if there's a knife kill, but an attempted knife kill, that's the worst, man. Like when you see in a movie, a character jumps for a ledge and just barely misses it. Except there was a, like, perfectly normal path right beside him he could have walked along. That's basically what we've seen. Decided to jump and now he's dead. 8-7. FPX in a spot where, you know, I don't think they're going to be too upset. It was one of those things they'll definitely laugh off, but if they lose the lead and DFUSE starts to pose a serious threat on this map, that's where you can start to really think, dude, you seriously go for that knife? Really?
Hello, Spike.
Just judged him. Spike's down in water, obviously in sewers, but look at those feet. They've been spotted clear as day. 2 players up in heaven. That's going to cause rotations, but I think that's exactly what DFUSE are looking to do here. They're trying to sell false information so that the rotates can come in and be cut off. Already, they're moving into heaven. Angel could be caught off guard. No, there's a fault line going through. Angel's about to go in for a peek of heaven, question mark. There we go, and he's down. He's dead. Lost that player. And lost having control, but Zipan, oh, he's sneaky. He's so sneaky. Cloak and dagger stuff up behind them. They had no idea. And with that, all the options point towards A. All roads lead to the A site, and Dimisic shutting them down. 10 seconds. They've got to get this spike in, and he's challenged. That's it. Round over. It's done. It's dusted, and Dimisic's even put a bow on it.
Take what's useful.
Yeah, it's never an easy task to get past Dimisic, but I think DFUSE almost played a little bit too much. Like, the initial plan that they started off with, as you said, like the fake into heaven, cut off rotations, and then have them double back in towards the A site with a spike, perfectly good plan. The problem is the sort of cutoff of rotations went a little bit too well. So they start rotating the spike all the way back, and then it's the A play is the fake. Well, when those two players die, you have nothing. You're left with a spike rotating in, no map control, and no A site. And that's where things just completely fall apart for DFUSE. I imagine this is the point where they also are the ones taking the tactical, because realistically, you've made a bit of a slip up just with your decisions in the latter portions of that. But also now, you're going to have the money looking pretty good. You got Shao already with his res in play, whereas, okay, sure, if you fight for a couple of ult orbs in the early stages of the round, you might be able to bring through a showstopper or something like that, or if you're feeling a little bit interesting, you could try and get the Rolling Thunder if you manage to get a kill alongside it. The thing is, though, you lose this round, financially, you're in ruin, and you're looking at FPX already in double digits.
100%. That's a very, very important one. DFUSE, they've had some burst of energy.
Doesn't even need it.
No, I think you're just denying your enemies taking it even.
Yeah, of course.
That's the thing. Some teams will focus around having a second player there. Like, you could have sent Zipan down, you could have sent Shadow, he's pretty close, or even Dimisic to get the ult, but they've decided against it. Instead, just denying the ultimate from their opponents. Play. And if you're DFUSE, attack side, control is limited at this point, right? They have a player out mid who's mostly smoked off. 2 players smoked off outside of A. B players, guess what? No, they're not smoked off. There's not that many smokes on the map. But they're also not getting the most information. They're playing quite a passive angle, waiting for someone to peek in and make a mistake. But there's only so long you can sit there and wait for FPX to make a mistake. And eventually, with the kind of info they have, you're going to have to roll the dice and make a push.
Yeah, playing a slow game versus FPX is always a tough one. I was expecting DFUSE to be a little bit more brute force at times, and they're not leaving the clock quite as low. Now, the rotation that's come in is actually off, but we are going to see that showstopper. They got the orb earlier on, and how? How has he managed to get away with that? Luckily, Akuma is there to pick up the pieces, but Zipan very nearly escaped.
Yeah, you don't want to let that guy go off the leash. Angel up close, hello, and goodbye. Sweet dreams as Akuma is just putting them all to sleep. DFUSE winning this round clean as day. Roden, did he just spray 2 players through the smoke? All right, you'll take those rounds.
Yeah, these are the sort of rounds. Obviously, it's a little bit later than maybe we expected, but they're the rounds that we look at. You've got Roden blasting through, but every single member of this DFUSE side has their role, has their positioning, and these are the sort of players I wanted to see from Akuma. Now, I'm sure you get flashbacks to this quite regularly, but versus Alliance, he had a pretty damn incredible game. Like, he was one of the clutch players. I think it was very much up in the air whether or not it was him or Logan who was going to be getting the MVP of that match, and hey, fair enough, it goes the other way. And this is the change of pace I wanted to see again. TACAS is right in.
Getting up in their face. You know, with Shao, he's hoping someone comes towards the top of that ramp, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen today. Control of this site is completely in the hands of DFUSE as they now look to play some post plans. There's not really anywhere they can go for the most part, and they're hearing lots of steps in heaven. They know that this is an FPX heaven push. There's nobody in screens. It's taking a while for them to actually set up, so clock is going to be very, very low. This has to be quick. It has to be explosive. They have the res, and I'm surprised Shao is going first with that in mind. He wanted to make something happen with the judge, but instead gets shut down by a crossfire. And honestly, at this point, FPX don't want to save. They've got pistols. Angel could, I suppose, but realistically, I think they're running the clock down to try and contain these players and take them down when the spike explodes as they rush out of there to try and save those weapons. Significant damage done. Great play by FPX, and Angel, he takes as many... Oh, makes it out of there as well. Takes as many of them with him as he possibly can. They accepted. As soon as Shao died, they weren't going to win this round. They were making sure that DFUSE paid a heavy, heavy price for it.
Yeah, making things very costly for DFUSE, so if they do eventually win the round, we're going to look at the attacking side with maybe 1 more buy in them rather than what could have easily been 2. What I will say, again, it's the clear factor of if DFUSE are able to keep that much control when it comes to the A-site retake, you're never going to get back in. That's why they had to try and clear the ramp, but even if they had managed to get the kill onto Hoppy, there was still Logan even deeper just trying to watch for the rotations, and it becomes very, very difficult, especially with the weaponry available for FPX to do anything other than what we saw. So they make it costly. They put themselves in a decent position when it comes to the purchase on this round. Now, for Shao... He is still going to have a weapon. Okay, I thought there might be a piece or two missing, but he's done all right. You can see Demasic maybe with a piece or two of utility missing, which is definitely not going to be ideal. Also doesn't have the upgraded armor, but you know, when you're playing against Vandals and top-tier players, I feel like you can get away with that.
Oh, my Angel. I thought he was in for more than that. Xiao up close, knows they're coming, walled up, slowed down. He's spraying on into it, into the gap, but not able to connect the kill. Angel's here to support, though. Xiao doesn't care about smokes. He's still hitting headies all day long. Spamming smokes with a Vandal as well. I mean, we're playing a risky game on this one after the amount of players they spotted, but it's paying off. 2-man advantage for FPX now, leading into the first minute of the half around.
Yeah, that's like killing someone with a flare. Like, you don't mind them knowing that you're there already. We're going to see some repositioning here on Logan, starting that lurk into mid, but you're always going to see FPX continue to be proactive, and again, they're looking for a fight.
Oh, very proactive indeed. Down goes Angel to take one, and down he does not go, because he's got 3 under his belt as he tucks away. Spike obtained as well. Oh my. DFUSE getting styled on in this round. Logan seeks ahead to take a shot, and they line up a little bit off kilter as Xiao closes the round. 10-9. A 3K by Angel. That initial fight on the ramp, pushing down ramp afterwards. He owns that control, and Xiao spraying people through smoke like it's not even there. I mean, DFUSE cannot be happy with that round, especially with the potential implications of losing that one on the rest of this half.
Yeah, that's one of those rounds that is almost like FPX flexing their muscles. It's like, well, we can take the control that you want away from you, and then just re-peek it again and just make sure that you're not trying to get back anything else. Again, we're going to fall into the same sort of default we've seen from DFUSE. I do think these more bursty, aggressive rounds garner them a lot more space, especially when we know that it's never going to really be FPX sitting still. It does, however, look like they want to try and counter Xiao, who has been lurking around this position quite regularly. Of course, he's been taking the orbs in pretty much every single round, boosting up his res, but also just making sure no one can get it on the other side.
Killjoy ultimate coming through. Xiao is really backed off, but he's got plenty of time. They destroy it actually with the nade, and that one hurts. That one really hurts when it's in a position like that. And they can just take it out so easily. It's such a low cost. Angel again finds that opening. Zipan's good to trade. Rolling Thunder coming through. It catches Zipan, so he's deleted. Man advantage no longer in play. Xiao on the back of the site. They know he's here. He's played here almost every round, but a Rolling Thunder of their own takes down Takis. A quick kill, but they need a bit more, and Dimasic's not up for the challenge. Hoppy in with Heaven Control, in with the round. Double digits, 10-10. DFUSE stay alive a bit longer and even tie it up.
I feel like you have to really respect the goal of DFUSE, especially after the last round. I think a lot of teams would have shied away from going in that direction. And it actually starts off in a similar fashion. Like, we see Angel get the opening pick, a decent start for him. But then it's just the reaction, the quick dash up, the trade, and then just clearing out that site methodically. Again, these more aggressive, like, all-in plays from DFUSE just seem to be working out for them. And I wonder if we're about to see something similar towards B. However, there is a deep cam, so there's some information already there. The problem is the defense will have to rotate back around, and they're already in heaven.
Oh, Dimasic left unchecked, not even deleted by that ultimate, and Roden eventually stopping the show. Flash from Zipan, they want to compete with this. They want to fight it in shadow through the boxes. They're taking all the kills. Up above, Akuma delivers death, but Logan, he's still alive, and that clutch is all his. It's got his name written all over it. 11 rounds for DFUSE as they pull it across the line and take the lead. FPX now gotta be feeling pretty upset with how they've ended up here. That was such a good fight, but man, when Logan's still alive, the round is not over.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm ready for Statsman Lothar to tell me how many clutches that's been now for Logan, because he just seems so good in these situations where it's a 1v2, maybe 1v3, 1v4, and it's just like he knows exactly where he should be, he knows the positioning. I want to give credit to his teammates as well, because there must be incredible information given every single time, because he just knows.
Oh, into the smoke. That's a really nice TP. And not one I've seen DFUSE do before. Hoppy moves into heaven. They have no idea.
What?
Why would he have stuck it? Why would he have done that? That's what they're thinking. But it was so well planned. DFUSE move forward. They get control. Zipan good for only 1 kill. And FPX are in dire straits. They've invested. Dimasic good for a double. A res comes in and a 2-man advantage. But I want to look at Logan and no one else. This man is still alive right now. Akuma. Whoa, what was that flick? Right onto his head. It's magnetic. Logan, the 1v3, and it's not happening. 11-11. They tie it up yet again. DFUSE. They can't catch a break. They can't extend the lead, but they can stay alive. The economy low. This could be 12-11 and DFUSE fighting for OT.
I'm just imagining someone sat like with all their chips ready to place a bet on like a horse or something, and it would be much tougher in this sort of situation to tell me who's going to win the next round. Even with the financial constraints currently on the other side of DFUSE, this has been so back and forth, so many impactful plays. The only real problem I'm seeing for DFUSE is the amount of times we've now had the spike dropped in heaven. That seems to be a recurring theme of their A takes, is they just hand that over as like a free gift for the side of FPX. Again though, a fast push in, but this time Dimasic is ready. He's got support from Shadow, and this is clean and clinical from Dimasic. You do not enter his castle.
You guys are so much better.
One after another, dude, just tapping heads. I like it. I respect it. When he got hit by that aftershock, I thought he was dead for sure, but no, you can't stop the machine. FPX are presenting a well-rounded front, but again, there was nothing to work with for DFUSE there. They had a super low buy. We expect them to just get deleted in it. Probably could have done it a little bit better, but hey, those are throwaway rounds. This is where it really matters, Tom. It's the final round of the half, and it's either OT or map 2 with a 1-0 disadvantage, facing into FPX's map pick, which they've barely played. And we saw what they can do on Icebox, man. This is scary for DFUSE.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to want to turn this around, and they're going to want to do it now. Now, it's worth mentioning they did save in the last round. They were playing for overtime. They were playing it as safe as you can, if anything. I respect it. I don't see a lot of teams doing that in the current form of Valorant. They would have taken a risk and gone in for the all-in play. Angel, though, not your classic operator player, but pulling it out in situations, and this situation has gone flawlessly. He had a spare weapon as well, so he's baiting them in. Roden falls to the in-game leader, and he's even going to escape the Rolling Thunder as well. This might just be the beginning of the end.
Player coming behind, though. Takis, maybe a lifeline for them in this round. He's going to catch a side swipe and maybe a double. Xiao at least picks him up before going out, but Akuma and Logan, two of the biggest clutch players, running into Shadow on the backside. He drops the spike. They're rushing in, they're rotating. Logan flashed and dead. 13-11. FPX win this map, but it's not easy. It's not clean to DFUSE. They put up
things where we get the Sage now brought back onto Zipan, who honestly, like, I think this was like one of his comfort picks initially, and he got moved away from it, and it looked like he was flourishing back on that agent again.
Yeah, it used to be Phoenix back day one in Pugs and all this sort of stuff, but his comfort level's definitely there on Sage. It was a secondary for him, and then obviously just due to his insane ability. He got buffed onto Raze, but I like seeing him on the Sage, man. The Battle Sage in true definition, and I hate spectating Hoppy because that crosshair, it's one of the ugliest I've ever seen, but you know what? He's able to hit some heads, but it's traded back into a 3 versus 3. Shadow taking a decent amount of damage, but heals are possible. And I think, did they just connect? There we go, yeah. So he's going to be back up close to 100, if not 100 actually, off the back of that heal. 81, okay, not too bad.
Yeah, it's nice he gets traded out by the other man with an ugly crosshair. It's like they're going back and forth. Shadow likes well, in Shadow's eyes, size does matter. Let's put it that way. But 50 seconds left on the clock. We are now going to see the attack have to start making their move. Now, they've got some mid control. They've already used the wall, or didn't have it initially, so they can't actually have any way to try and section things off, and they're actually walking into a stack. There's 2 players ready and waiting. Takaz is more of the bait. The switch is still waiting around the corner, but he's just going to do it on his own. He had Logan for support in the end, but Takaz, he really didn't need it.
No, he didn't. He's got this under control. Don't you worry. We're talking about Battle Sage, and I guess we should have been looking over at the defensive side. 1-0 now. DFUSE clocked that one up, and look at that. It's the barrel. You said size matters, Tom. Well, right there is what got Angel killed. It was a little bit too long, that barrel. It's easily spotted around the corner.
This is the one map where we sort of see a lot of the agent choices coming out from DFUSE be a lot more tactical. Like Takas as well doesn't really stick to that Sage anymore, so this is the one map where again he brings that through, and a lot of that is going to be down to denying space, slowing pushes, and giving them opportunities in the retake. That's the value of having both the breach and of course the Sage as well. Now look at this push already. All right, Angel. Like we know you like to get aggressive, but to be this far down mid already might be a bit of a surprise. But they've just shut the door in his face. Not interested. Not today. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I feel like for Angel, he's almost he pushes mid until he sees rope room, just like in Split. And this time he's like, wait, I'm at the end of mid. Where is it? Did I go past it? He sat in pizza right now. Man, I wouldn't mind sitting surrounded by pizza. Ooh. I'm hungry, Tom. I didn't get to eat my dinner. It arrived late. So,
Are you on some gelato?
Oh, man. Stop it.
There's a shop
I have some in the freezer downstairs, bro. Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. You can get some real nice gelato here, but we look at this 1-0. This is a round that we don't expect a lot from FPX. Again, just to set the precedent. They've got weak weapons. They've got pistols. DFUSE should be just clocking this one up. But they've grouped up. And this is where even the weaker weapons in numbers can be insanely strong. Logan tucked in the corner. He's under threat. But the stun goes out towards the A site. Good flash. There's one. There's two. But that's all he's going to get. Good trade, really, for the attackers. Paranoia wasted. It doesn't catch Hoppy with that insane crosshair. Again, what is he doing with that? But the rest of his team able to pick it up and clean it up, put 2-0 on the board. One loss, yeah, you'll take that. One death isn't too bad in a round like this.
Wouldn't it be great if the meme ended up being that it's not his crosshair and he just has the thing turned off, and it's actually our observer's crosshair and we've just been bullying him for the last 5 minutes?
Yeah. What the hell is wrong with this guy? The observer's like, no, it's all right. It's good for observing. I hope that's not the case. I'd like to apologize on behalf of Tom, to our observer. He started this, if that's what happened. But if it's Hoppy...
If that is your crosshair, it's awful. I'm sticking with it. I'm doubling down.
All in, all in. Well, look, all in on this round is exactly what FPX have done. They've got lots of rifles, one Bulldog to play with, but you can see that on their opponent's side of DFUSE, the weapons are a little bit worse. Akuma in the corner. He's in a bit of danger. Gonna catch the first on an Angel Flash. Gonna make it around, actually, so Zipan's blind, but still able to get the second. Healed back up. His teammate was behind a smoke, so there was no support. This is the Zipan show right now, and he is going to kill. As they look towards the B site, it's Takas. He's tucked in on the stairs and looking for a victim, and Zipan might just be the next on his list.
He's almost completely isolated. Hoppy doesn't have a bad position to try and deny the cross, but they will expect this. They should expect this. And Zipan, well, he is going and killing pretty much all the way through this round. Demasic will put the final nail in the coffin, but all in all, this is not awful. Like, sure, they would have wanted to get maybe a little bit more, an extra kill, do some damage, but you have to bear in mind what was invested here. Now, the one man standing is going to be Logan. Now, to lose a 1v4 to a Sheriff, there's not many teams that can do that.
I mean, generally, there's not too many teams that can do it, but versus Logan, I would say the majority of teams can do it, from what we've seen even just in the previous map. But Logan's playing this one very, very slow. I don't think he has time to get even near the site. I mean, I'm really presuming FPX don't just leave this, and indeed they won't. I've been let down in the past, Tom. Not in this game, but in Counter-Strike. Man, I've seen some silly rotates, and he's gonna go down.
Didn't Twist to do it.
This is where most people go, oh, Logan, what a noob. he thought he was gonna survive. No, you don't want to survive around like this. He had a Sheriff, he had nothing else, and you don't get your loss bonus properly. You get punished pretty heavily if you survive the round, so he wouldn't be able to buy up properly, so instead he dies. And the benefit of dying to the spike instead of running out and taking a fight is that he doesn't give his opponent an ult charge. Now, he doesn't get one either. Yeah. But it's a trade-off sometimes that's worth making, especially when you look at how impactful the breach, because it was Shadow that was taking the fight. If Shadow got that kill, one charge towards a breach ult, that's not something you want to mess with.
Look at the push. Straight away, DFUSE are taking no prisoners here. All the way down, deep into A. Ult taken as well, which will almost give Akuma the Rolling Thunder. And the fact that they've managed to deep wall in gives them a fair bit of space. The only worry is this mid control. They've had none, absolutely nothing. So they have to try and hold from the sites. And look how far forward FPX have already managed to get.
They're up in their grill as Takis sprays away and takes down Xiao. They're not ready for this many players to be here. Angel, look, he's in the back site and they have no idea. They're still focused on the laneway, but Angel, well, he had made way. Now the spike's planted and he's in the back site in the boathouse, ready to set sail and take this round to the high seas. DFUSE, they're going to take a while to get back into this one. Logan's on the rotate, clearing out mid, and as he finally makes his way into market, the clock is pretty low considering it's a 2v3, and they have zero info. These players could be in B main, they could be just about to flank them out. There's so much they're lacking, yet they're still going to go forward. I can't blame them, but they've got to make a move fast and find a kill, find a duel, and it's not that kind of duel you want. Logan again in a clutch, and it just won't go his way this time.
Yeah, we've seen them in similar situations like this before, but FPX, again, looking well-regimented. Nobody peeking, nobody taking too many risks, and the second they make contact, there's a swing. Perfectly played in the afterplants, but also the manner in which they're taking control in these rounds is truly scary. I think there's going to have to be some sort of response into middle, because that's now multiple times where we've just seen FPX pretty much just go for a straight run down mid and just take that control for free, wall off the cross, and then just make their wraparound. And you saw how far behind Logan was. I think part of that's almost thinking, okay, there has to be someone on the rotation, but the other part of it as well is just the sheer speed in which FPX made that take.
Angel's up close here. That wall, oh, it comes in just in time. But they managed to destroy it instantly. It does grant a bit of a safe space for Takis to fall back to the B side at least. Just valuable utility gone out of the round. And for very little purpose, because they still have to dedicate a player towards this side of the map to hold it down, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I think they've had to gamble an extra player in to try and help on B. The problem is we don't see the proactive approach, especially in a round like this. You have 4 pistols and a Bucky. I want to see you get some extra information. Instead, it almost looks like they're going for an all-in gamble play, but they do have to push on to short. This is the info they needed. Hoppy can say that they're not rotating in and actually has a fast flank, so I don't know if the footsteps were heard, but the cage will mean he has to wait. But they are going to walk into what is, again, a 4-man stack.
Right into the heavy defense, but it doesn't seem to be slowing them all too much. One after another, the dominoes start to fall, and Roden looks like he's going to be the next on the list. It was close. Whenever I see a Bucky up close, it always scares me, man, but shots not hitting. Leave DFUSE in a position they should have been in, really. I mean, this is a very light investment. They don't deserve to win this round based on that, and they don't. Yeah, it's not an upset like we saw again and again in the previous map. You just couldn't trust it. But now 3-2, FPX, they're steaming into the lead. An investment from DFUSE, if they lose this, they do start to lose a bit of a grip on the half.
Yeah, especially in the manner of which this started. They are starting to fall a little bit flat. And again, it's off mid-control. Like, in that round, I can't really blame them, but I think there has to be some sort of response, be it in the future, trying to pull out an operator. I know that Roden likes to try and operate through that mid-connector. If he can do that, it could be fantastic, but this... Really? He's just going to stick it. Oh my goodness, they've been pushing so much that they actually start to expect it. So Angel's just going to push straight into heaven.
Oh!
They have to clear out. Oh, Kuma should have got that. Instead, Angel just nails the headshot in the last second. Hoppy's trying to be a hero, but again, Angel pulls back one more, and with the res in play, the last 2 players, can they really do anything here?
I mean, they've got double the opposition to come up against. So they've got to find 2 kills each, essentially. Roden and Takis, well, we know Takis is capable, but no jet, no operator in his hands. That's a bit of a nerf for him. Comes up towards the wall, look behind him. Good night, sweet dreams. Xiao is coming up through middle, ready to take him down, leaving Roden all by himself. Lone soldier. He's out. He's bailing. He knows this round is not his to win, and he just needs the weapon for the next. That will be 4-3. Oh, hold on. He's under threat. He's running away towards the B side, but they definitely know where he is after that recon went out. Bit of a fake. He wants to try to maybe catch a kill or 2 as they come down to hunt and spawn. But it's worth mentioning at this point, Tom, that this is 4 rounds in a row for FPX. And you lose the pistol, and you find yourself 4-2 in the lead. Oh, it's a kick in the delicates for DFUSE, man. They need to get back into this one, and they need to do it soon. And the problem as well is the economy's really going to start to dwindle after losing that round.
Yeah, the loss bonus at this stage is, of course, maximized, so they can afford to pull in rifles if they drop the armor in a lot of cases, but chances are you're just going to want to go for some pistols. The thing I have to, again, point out, FPX go from playing heavy mid control in almost every single round to a fast A take, complete change of pace, and evidently had a read on what was going on. Like, there's been multiple rounds now where we've seen A pushes, control taken, so they just TP into heaven, a spot where there's nobody covering, and at that point, you see Logan actually try and push through the smoke because he realized he's screwed.
Oh, that flash. Perfect counter, but somehow Angel ends up walking out of that in a better position. I mean, until he gets shot in the head by Roden, but he did so much damage to Hoppy.
What?
Roden keeps on going. 2 kills. Middle shut down. Taken out of the hands of FPX.
Here.
Now, it wouldn't matter if they had a res or not, because Zipban fell, but they didn't. They're far away from it, having used it up. Just 2 rounds.
Takas does.
That's true. He does. And Roden's right beside him. Does he have a wall? No.
All their ults.
He doesn't have a wall. This is a risky res as he goes out wide, and down she goes. This is tough. They now know there's a player close mid. He's going to be pushed in the open. He's going to be sprayed, but makes it away. He'll survive. Fight another day, or, well, to fight now, probably. A 2v3, a perfectly winnable round with these pistols, and it's Logan, Sheriff in hand, pushing up. The first is free, and 2! Oh, but he can't get the third, leaving it into the Battle of Breach. And Sova, Roden rotating into heaven.
30 seconds left.
Being a back and forth round, Tom. It's being tight. If Roden swings now, he's got this one done, and it looks like he's got the timing. Roden with 3, round done, secured by DFUSE. What a roller coaster.
Yeah, for sure. Like, from start to finish, it was so aggressive from DFUSE. Of course, they had 1 rifle there, so it's the right play to make. I also think that the players that they lost on short, it was more just impressive from Shadow rather than a misplay, because you look at how they're holding, you sort of mentioned it's a risky res. So what they do is they have the wide swing in mid, you expect, okay, everybody focuses on mid, and then they have 2 players rush up short to try and get the trade kills. Instead, Shadow, he doesn't even blink an eye and is still just holding that angle. Props have to go to both Roden and Logan, though. Like, Logan's he just gets 2 kills with pistols in spots that, realistically, if you get 1, you should have a smile on your face.
What? Okay, that's the strangest push I've ever seen in my life. He's tried to flash him with his own head. Tried to shoot him with it. We've already seen the Robin Hood play, but I don't even know what to call that. A Hadouken, I suppose. Either way, 4v3 emerges from that round that I pity anybody trying to break down. A drone, I think it might have spotted them, because the smoke faded just as it disappeared. Either way, whether you have the info or not, getting the kills out in the open. Shadow, Zipban, getting the kill onto Roden together. Wall goes down. That's not stopping them from running out, but it is allowing the crossover to site. Rolling Thunder just to secure it. Now they can get the plant. Man advantage for the attackers. That doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. They're not really worried about a flank push at this point. I think they know everybody's in front of them on sites, and that's a brave swing by Zipban, 1 at a time. They're taking these fights. It's strange to see FPX play like this. Alt line catches off the... Oh my god. It catches Takas, but he still gets the kill, and Hoppy trades it. That's strange, Tom. I don't remember the last time that I saw FPX play a 3v2 by just peeking one after another.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that, especially after Zipban's peak, I don't know if they didn't see the second player, but you could have then easily played through Heaven, wrapped back around, and had the short spot that you basically wanted for that afterplant. I think it's just because they didn't have the initial info that he goes down. They didn't expect both players to be there. However, to then continue to fight it, I don't know if that's some of the confidence we saw, for example, from Xiao in the last map, where you just think you can win any situation, but they almost just give DFUSE the fights that they actually want, and hey, if you're going to fight them on their own turf, DFUSE a lot of the time will come out on top, so they convert a round that never really looked likely. But luckily, for the side of FPX, they do actually still have the finances. A res available for them, but I'm looking at the ults on the other side, Mitch. You have 4 of the 5, and the 5th one is really not that far away.
Yeah, they've been holding these for a little while now. 2 rounds that DFUSE have held on while Takas builds his ultimate right back up. Aka's caught in the corner. Rolling Thunder comes in. A lot of these guys are weak, and Angel makes it into the corner. He doesn't avoid the ult. Logan keeps on going. He's conscious. There's a player on the right. He knows it, waits for the peek, but doesn't win the duel. Tak is quick to come back out and get a quick old double. Short control is his. Spike is dropped, and here comes help from middle. As Akuma's on his way. Dim 6 shut down, and Akuma still not spotted. About to take a peek, and that closes the round easily. 5-4 DFUSE. They won the pistol. They lost 4 in a row, but they're right back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, that ult was so solid. It didn't get anywhere near as much as maybe we expected with the amount of kills they could have, but it almost just set them up to have to try and repeat to get out of the corners, and didn't give FPX the same chance that we normally see them. Like, they like these slower rounds where they sort of reposition, they take map control. The one thing I'm a little bit surprised by is we haven't seen them go for that same battle into middle. Something that was so successful for them in the early rounds. They've almost switched up to try and go back towards A. And I'm a little bit confused as to why. Sure, there's been adaptations from DFUSE. I'm not going to deny that, but you've won every single round you've tried to push mid to B. Why not just keep pressing down on that weakness?
Maybe they'll figure it out now as attack pause in. I will say that roof that we're seeing there on the bottom right with the tiles, that's a terrible roof. Whoever designed that, I mean, it's going to get waterlogged, bro. It's flat, and it's actually higher at the edges, so good luck fixing those leaks. I don't know much about construction, Tom, but I'll tell you what. Wasn't an architect that made that roof. Every other roof in this map's beautiful, though. So, you know, that's it's a one pet peeve.
Yeah, the designers are about to come for you. You've insulted the map makers. There's going to be like a shrine to you dressed as Yoda or something next time.
Oh, God. Don't say that. Don't give them ideas.
Yeah, I think they'd have to spend a lot of money to get the copyright for that.
They're just like a little green version of me. Instead of a teddy bear or something.
Same thing.
Oh, son of a... Alright, so DFUSE. We said they've got a lot of ultimates, and they still do, but Akuma, oh, he's going to take a fight before they even come up and online. He backs away from the smoke, which is an interesting play. I thought he was going to wait for them to come on through and try to punish it, but... that it's a little bit of a slower one.
Yeah, they have gone back to it as well. Like, sure, they've left a few players lurking. They're ready for any aggression onto short, which was the counter that we saw come out a round or two after the initial few came through, allowing a quicker wraparound from the side of DFUSE. But they haven't had a counter to this yet. And I'll be honest with you, it doesn't look like they have one here. They're relying on Roden, and bear in mind, Angel has a hero rifle. The only thing that could work out for him at this point is the timing. And instead, they're going to be locked into the back of sight and reliant on just hitting their shots.
30 seconds left.
Not really where you want to be at with how FPX are playing so far. They've been on fire, but... hell, when you've got Logan to win out clutches, why not? 20 seconds remaining. Tag up. Roden's down. Now all they have to do is pressure down Takas. He's being solid. Con in play. Dodges paranoia. Looks for the fight on range, but can't get it done. There's one. Not good for the second. They're ready to take... oh, he committed to it! His teammate died, but he full committed. Angel gets a triple. Last player alive is Logan. A 1v2. Spike planted. Quick shot to Angel. Looks for more. Swings wide, but Xiao takes him down. It's close to being another signature Logan clutch. But they win it, and I gotta say, man, the head scratcher in that round, Tom, Poppy, TPing in the backside, I mean, full committing, and it's funny, because I feel like more of these ults have been full committed to on rotates than actually cancelled. But in this situation, the timing was so terrible, because Takas died, and half a second later, that ult was finished. So I don't think he had time to cancel it just off reaction time.
I think as well, like, if you're going to do that, do it when Roden dies. Like, almost instantly. It has to be a quick response. And the problem I'm having, it's the same thing again. This is nothing new for FPX. This is something they've tried again and again. This is the adaptation I wanted to see. They've pulled out the operator onto Roden. A very competent operator player at that. But this gives them a little bit more control into mid. He can battle. He can brawl. He can try and deny that spacing from Angel. At the same time, if this is an adaptation I expected, I am telling you now, this is an adaptation that Angel expected.
Oh, 100%. You can think of it, Angel expects it. I feel like that's where we're at. EP from Hoppy back away. He doesn't want to get taken down by any shenanigans, any shock darts or wall bangs or quick gold peaks. DFUSE, time on the clock. They've got decent map control. They can just hold on to it, but they want to go out wide. And Roden headshot, but through a very thick piece of metal. Shock dart closes it out. Angel I said if you can think of it, he'll expect it, but he didn't see that one coming.
Well, I can tell you now, Jonas has a smile on his face. Utility usage on point. Maybe not the operator so much, but they're going to bring Angel back. The only worry now, 30 seconds left. They don't have a massive amount of map control. He's trying to work out what utility to use, and this is something FPX are a master of. It's the late round execution.
They're going to look to push in. Angel, though, committing to the ultimate again. Not going to be able to capitalize on it. Poppy and Logan quick to get kills. Spike down through the wall. That's a big mistake. It's over. They can't get to it. There's no way. And that one little error. And you know exactly what happened there, Tom. I'm walling. I'm taking the fight. Dude, you've got the spike. And it's too late. It's already gone. It's like, what? Who dropped it to me? I didn't have it at the start. You dropped it, bro. At least in my ranked games, you know? And then everyone gets called silver.
I will say, if you're playing a competitive shooter and you shout the phrase, I'm walling, I would be very careful. You're probably going to get a few reports coming in for you. But
oh, that shock
beautiful,
was nasty,
beautiful.
Bro. Nasty. And of course that was going to be his reaction as well. It's good prediction of pathing from Roden. He tags the player and then he thinks, what are you going to do? You're not going to swing out wide. You're not going to walk to mid. You're going to hug the wall. So that's the shock dart perfectly planned for that route. Really well done.
One down.
Well, again, we're going to see the same push as something that has come through a fair few times, and this time actually works out, catching out Dema6. Shadow is still lurking around the edge of the dark cover. Does he expect it to be this close? No. And again, the man we've highlighted so many times is going to take control. Now, Angel is still here. It's been individual fights that I'm sure Logan is more than happy about, and he's already going to pick up his third. Finally, he is put down by the IGL, but it's too little too late. Angel needing a 1 versus 3. He's going to have to channel his inner clutch. And you can see they already have a pretty damn good idea of where he is.
Oh, a very good idea now, yeah. The entry fragging Brimstone has a smoke to block off the player deep in mid, but they've pushed up on short with 2. They've come out on mid. He's tagged again. And the problem is, Hunter's Fury's online, right? They had Rez on lockdown as well. It's scary to play the final round like that, but he's got it! They smoked it off so they couldn't even see him coming around from the side angle Sova had. He's rotating to B, or is he? Those are the steps he's making, but back towards the A side he goes. They're watching for it. They've got it cordoned off and sealed. Here he comes as smoke dissipates, but Akuma's ready. He was watching for the head peek angle. I don't think anyone expected Akuma to be quite that aggressive up on top, waiting for him to come on through. 7-5 at the half. I have to say, I'm really running my memory here. I'm scrolling through the rounds. Did Roden use his ult at all? Did Logan? Did we see Lockdown? Did we see Hunter's Fury? Because they held those for a long time. And I can't remember them being used.
No, me neither. I think a lot of the rounds that were won as well, it almost seemed like if it was on A, a lot of the time it was just these 2v2 clutches after a lot of entry kills for FPX. And if it was on B, well, I would say most of the time FPX won the round, so we didn't really get to see either of them. So yeah, a bit of a peculiar half. I don't think the ultimate usage was definitely ideal from DFUSE, but they did manage to react quite well. Like, they kept going for these aggressive plays that ended up working out for them. They did well in their sort of anti-eco rounds, but now they're going to switch up onto the attack, and this is looking like a straightforward A hit with some pace to it.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a speedy one rushing in towards the site, already overwhelming it, but Angel through the smoke with the silencer. It's always beneficial. Shadow avoiding, clicking through. Oh, it was so close. Roden on 10 HP. Could have been an easy kill. The upside here is Takis was taken down at random. The dice were rolled. Yeah, the dice had been rolled, and they unfortunately landed the wrong way for him, so no heal to bring Roden back up to full HP. That half, or fault line actually gets them a kill, but it's traded back. With Roden low, someone needs to step it up. We need a hero for our story, and it's not Akuma, it's not Roden, it has to be Logan. A 1v4 as he moves towards the site. The first is there, but they wisely double peek him to close out the round and put it on the board for FPX. 7-6. Closing the gap, and this means we're again looking at a very competitive half.
Oh, that was getting pretty close towards the end, especially how long it took them to find the spike. But yeah, a spike plant, a little bit of extra cash for DFUSE, but the fact that every single player actually rotates in through heaven was not something they were expecting. You could see Logan was waiting to try and catch off the players on the flank, and as you mentioned, the roll of the dice, the man falling through the smoke, just happened to be the person that could bring back the HP. So a little bit rough, unfortunately, and likelihood is now we're going to see FPX get themselves right back into things, but well, pretty much all the way through today, we've seen a hell of a lot of damage being done in these second rounds. So seeing this amount of ghosts, I don't know. We'll see what DFUSE can do.
We will. Dimisic. Oh, whoa, okay. There's one for him. A little bit more damage. Down to the ghost now. Up close. Wall is in play. They know that, and they want to look for the players coming around the side, but Logan got a double. Okay, Angel. I'll raise you one on that one, he says. 7-7. But, I mean, it wasn't clean. They did lose 2 players, which is going to cause some reinvestment and make this not quite the bonus round that you'd expect. Either that, or you're going to have some serious weaknesses like ghosts coming into this one, which I think some players can definitely drop over. That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. Oh my. IGLs can't frag. 13 kills on the board.
Well, yeah, this must give like Lothar and Jonas a fair amount of like positivity in their day, knowing that the elderly can frag. Either way, 7-7. Now we are actually going to have a Vandal invested into Angel. He made some extra cash off the kills in the last round and was only using a ghost anyway. So now he gets to try and be the star that we know he is. Looking to try and get aggressive. He's very proactive on the defense as well as the offense. You might be thinking, well, Tom, this is the point where he calms down. But no, he's still going to look to push and probe. And hey, even been spotted by the owl drone to give a little bit of extra information. However, these sort of rounds, normally you see a sort of slower, more passive hold, but not if you're on the side of DFUSE. They've gone straight down mid and looked to try and pressure on the same weakness they had.
That fault line, oh, along with the tag, that's a death sentence for Tactus, but Logan quit. Oh, okay, hello, Angel. Bit of a jump scare for him, but he still gets it done. Around the edge, he's been spotted moving to site. They know now that there's a player here they have to deal with, and Akuma does exactly that. Textbook Hoppy in the corner, waiting inside the switch room as Zipan trades. Weapon to be retrieved. They can upgrade nice and easy onto a real rifle, a Vandal. But Zipan doesn't seem rushed into doing this. He's in a 1v2, so really, you're going to need it. Moves towards the alley. There it is. Position given away. Gonna shift walk over to the right side. Time against him. 30 or so on the clock. He's got to get in there in the next 5. 25, I meant. I don't know where 5 came from. It's not that close. It's not ticking away that fast. Swinging out. Sees Logan. This is tough. He has no idea about Akuma up beside him, and those are the 2 big clutch players for this team. He's got a good amount of armor, and he's got a Vandal. Is it worth saving? These questions running through his head. Finally find an answer. Oh, there's a nice kill for him, and the exit runs out of ammo, but hold on. Has he done it? No. Logan's made it away.
No. That's still worth it. Like, in any way. Like, you look at the amount of money that FPX will have going into this round, they can still purchase. It's not a problem at all. But instead, they've removed every single weapon except one. So DFUSE, sure, they get the round over the line, but for a bonus, that's almost as good as it gets. 4 kills and basically just ruining the economy of your opposition. Sure, there's a few pieces missing for themselves, however, and also, again, the ultimates have been built up a little bit more for DFUSE. So you actually have that lockdown. And although we didn't see it massively when it comes to the defense, on the offense of this map in particular, it really can be used to take a lot of control.
Oh man, look at those spams. Dimisic lucky to only lose as much health as he did, about 50 or so, including the armor that's disappeared. Attacker Killjoy ult going down. Looks like Logan's finally found his bind for that ultimate. Just jokes, of course. Last map, as you were saying, last half wasn't really called for that much. Dimisic shut down. No one can trade. No one can go out for that because, of course, that ultimate keeps them back. Now the side control is there. Man advantage for DFUSE, and they just need to slow this one down. That's nasty. Akuma with a double, and he's looking for more. Tearing the retake to what? Zipan's got a big game himself, 4K, and it makes it easy for Xiao to close it out. I was latched onto one story. It was Akuma down below taking kills. They had man advantages. They left it onto 2, and then out of nowhere, Zipan, he goes, and you know what? As always, this guy kills.
I would say that going into like the history of the rosters that combined to make FPX, for the Party Pirates to sort of combine with what was the roster that was obviously Zipango Kill and all of these different teams, there had to be something special about those players, let's be real. And this man is something special. A ridiculous round from Zipan. So individually skilled, doing it on someone who, like, he really can say the voice line, I am not just your healer, let's be honest. And the best thing about it is, he's now got his ult, so he can res someone if he needs to.
This is where you play that little bit more aggressive, but there's only so much you can really do. You can't res 3 players at once over on the DFUSE side. And Takis, well, he's got his choice of bodies, but on this kind of round, you're not going to go for it. You're going to wait up until the next one. You're on that full by FPX, should be taking the lead here, unless Takis has got, I wouldn't say play of the week. I'd put this down to, like, play of the year. If you do it versus FPX, yeah, you're making some serious history on that. But it's not happening. Not with the Sheriff, and it's a flawless round for FPX. Credits built up real high, and look how close they are to ultimates on Shadow and Xiao. You know, in these kind of situations, Tom, when you've got 2 teammates who already have their ultis, I love seeing teams prioritize players like Shadow, like Xiao, whose ultimates are very impactful. You know, no disrespect to Dimisic, but whose ultimates are very impactful. You want them to be the ones getting that final kill, so there's some serious reward to it for you.
For sure. And while there are some decent ults on the other side, the Rolling Thunder always going to be one of the most impactful attacker side ultimates. Although we will see Akuma waiting somewhat alone. Might be trying to sell a bit of an elaborate ruse. Normally you're going to see Breach utility used to try and set up other players. They are, however, going to drone towards A as well, giving an inkling and actually setting up for what looks like a fast split. Now, there's information being garnered on the other side, but it's too little too late. The rotation isn't going to get there in time, and while this ends up as being Zipan in a tough spot once again.
Yeah, that was nicely done with the Rolling Thunder. Angel rotates quickly using his ult and now looks for a kill, but there's already a player down below. It stops him from really getting near the side, and as he goes out, he's caught. Oh, that's so tough, but he still does serious damage. Shadow steps back across, so he's not stuck out in the open. With Akuma on 30 HP, it's doable. They're going to look to go over and get this res, and they'll be able to do so very, very easily. The wall up above spotted as Angel moves into heaven. This is going to be a very direct retake. They want Shadow to find a kill. If he gets a frag on this, they can definitely win this. Logan dodges the flash for the most part, caught down below. Hunter's Fury online, but it's not even needed. They're tearing them completely asunder. Double digits for FPX on one of the cleanest retakes of the day.
One of the cleanest retakes ever. I have no idea how they managed to do that so cleanly. Like, sure, the information that they found on the players underneath heaven was impressive. Like, they managed to bounce through, I think it was the dart that actually gives away the position of Logan, and, well, you clear him out of the angles, that's always going to help you out. But from then onwards, like, everything was just so clean, and I don't know, maybe the crossfires from DFUSE were a little bit off, but it just seemed like every single member of FPX hit their shots in that moment, so clinical. And from my perspective there, Mitch, I don't know about you, I was sort of starting to think like, okay, the time's gone quite far here. You've been setting up for a while. I'm looking at this as almost being done, and yeah, flawless round, and now look at what's on the other side. It's back to those trusty sheriffs, a frenzy, and by the looks of it, Xiao's about to find out a lot of information, but maybe information he doesn't want.
Nice, nice, nice. Secure this round, but unfortunately not able to do anything because of the wall, so even with the Rolling Thunder, it delays the push, but it doesn't really help them find any kills or weaken it down. Is Hoppy falls, they all fall on back. They run, hoping that they've caused severe rotations, but they want to go short. There's a big problem, buddy. The wall there. And now mid's pretty much their only option, straight in the crosshair of Dimisic. His teammates there quick to trade. You only lose one player and it's your Cypher. That's fine. You can definitely take those losses. I will say in the previous round, Tom, just to build on your point, when you were saying that you thought that the time was too low, I was 100% in agreement. That's why I was spinning the yarn of if Shadow gets a kill, it's doable. But honestly, I thought if he doesn't get that Rolling Thunder, you can't possibly clear all those angles in time and win all those duels. And, well, they proved me wrong very quickly. It was blink and you'll miss it kind of round.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this round as well, the one we just witnessed, is exactly how you use your utility to delay. Like, sure, the Rolling Thunder, it's an investment just to make sure that the round's converted, but after that, strong paranoia, an aftershock as well to try and slow them all down. Like, FPX left that round, well, completely opposite of down to chance. So they were just sat there ready and going, okay, there is no way that you get into this site for free. and eventually keep it nice and clean. It's been a bit of a rough day as well for d.music. He's normally someone that we highlight as being incredibly strong, even just on an individual level. He's been caught a few times, but realistically, it hasn't mattered so much because they've had Shao, they've had Zipper, and they've had Angel, that triple threat of death on this map, and there now needs to be a strong response. Like, DFUSE just scraping through a round, I don't think that's going to do it for them.
Exactly. There's so much of an uphill battle here. You gotta walk with conviction. You can't just stroll like me when we were walking around that park in Ukraine, Tom. That was tough. It was a really rough day for me. So much walking, so much exercise. Well, let's see. DFUSE, they're looking to take this battle head on. Wall again going towards bottom mid, I should say, as Roden picks up the opening. Okay, solid stuff. This side is playing retake. d.music's outside of the smoke, so this should be, in theory, a nice clean one. They've spotted a player, and the wall bang is connected on the back of it. Good camera. Patience, really. They waited until there was someone that they could cleanly take down. Logan spotted in the corner as well. This is somewhere that, especially when you still have a breach alive, you can cause that player a lot of heartache. This is an interesting Hunter's Fury coming through. I don't know if that's off the back of information, but Zipan, he just goes out and goes huge. Low HP on Roden, but Hoppy's doing the work. A 3 versus 2. Wallbang's coming in. Roden, backside, trying to buy as much time as he can, but Hoppy, that was such a good fault line from Shadow. So well positioned. It catches him. That was the full HP player as well. And your teammate backside, he can't even hope to help you, can he?
It must be so horrible trying to play after plants versus FPX. Because just everything they do, it's like, you had the great utility from d.music initially, so he not only gets the kill that gives him his ultimate, or, well, sort of gives it to him. He already had it, but it gives him the ability to use it, so they can then work out where everybody is when they do have the sight. The timing as well to avoid the Hunter's Fury, allowing them to clear some of the other angles while taking back control. And then, as you mentioned, right towards the end, the fault line. They just have players that basically know how to get every last ounce of their agent. So 12-8, looking like a spot in the semifinals is almost set for FPX, but we know that DFUSE have pulled off many miracles so far in the VCT. An attempt to pull this back, a purchase in play, and this time Takas is just running it through. They're going to try and put the pressure onto Xiao. d.music will fall in an early trade, but Xiao is still here. He spotted one of the players. That's the spike down, and he's buying time. The rest of his team W-keying their way in towards the site, but they pull off the Riz. However, Shadow's here, but he won't catch the kill.
And he's moved as well. Shadow stepped away. They find him. Hoppy not able to survive the day, but Roden come with that trade. They know they're on the site. 2 versus 3, information to play with. There's nothing. Oh, maybe they don't know there's nothing to worry about on the flank. I think they've spotted all the players, but, well, they've certainly spotted Logan. Quick shot from him, and Roden closes it out. 12-9. DFUSE survive a little bit longer with 3 rounds to go to catch up with FPX. We said they need to do it strongly. They need to do it with conviction, and they found this round in just that manner. Problem for me now is that FPX, I just feel that round coming. Angel on an operator is a big, big change, and this is where the spanners start to get thrown into the works, Tom. DFUSE need to be ready for plays like this. One slip up, and their chances of making it to playoffs decrease as they'll go down to the lower bracket.
Yeah, for sure. And the match that they've got coming up against them is likely a tough one at that, with Guild waiting down there for any potential opponents. Now, the operator purchase is similar to what we saw in the previous half from DFUSE. They want to try and deny that mid control that has just been ruining them over the last couple of rounds. Zipan even going to have one of the most irritating walls you'll see on Ascent, because you basically have to destroy the whole thing to be able to get through the angle. And this is what I mean. Like, Angel basically expects them to try and go for this again. Okay, this has succeeded in getting them site control twice. The second time, the pace that they threw in was enough to even garner the round. Now, they do have themselves a lot of control towards A, and the reason Hoppy is playing on the other side with the spike is, realistically, if he wanted to, he can just from the shadow straight into the site.
I'm almost holding my breath for DFUSE at this point. They're running towards the heavier side of the map. Angel with that operator going out for more. He wanted to, but he backs off afterwards. The blind perfectly hitting him. Xiao attempting to slow the retake, but it's not gonna happen. Zipan. Oh, here's Angel. Did he just try to jump shot? I swear he was in the air. If so, that's pretty ridiculous. as it's down to a 2v3. Op lost, player down. Res possible if Zipan was alive, but he's not. For DFUSE, this should be a signed, sealed, and delivered round. Xiao sees the head. There's a quick kill. 2 more to go. They know someone's over close to door. They'll focus on that angle. They see him above the wall, but it's not Sage. Sage is close. Takis has to win this for DFUSE to stay alive, and he does. All 3 go his way. Heads claimed, and 2 to go for DFUSE to make this an overtime.
If your butt cheeks weren't clenched in that moment, I don't think you're a proper DFUSE fan. That was way too close in the final sections of that round. In fact, I would have almost bet on Xiao to take this through. Man, so clean in these stages, but Takas will hold true. I am surprised, though, that we don't actually see just the full retake from FPX. Like, it was a little bit of a risk taken by DMSIC getting caught out a bit in that round. Normally the person playing into the site, however, but Angel does well to give them an advantage. I also wonder if that might have been a victory for the Spacebar gang. Is he a mouse wheel jumper? Could that be the reason that he jumps there, Mitch?
Maybe. Maybe. You never know, man. Yo, 2 players on mid spotted. Angel goes out for them, but DMSIC's here as well. The trades back and forth, yet to determine favor. Logan in trouble on low HP, and a swing from Xiao. The res comes in, and it's a bait, because, oh, a double for Akuma. He takes out the res and the reviver, as Xiao has it all to do. A chance to make up for that clutch, but, oh, perfectly done. So well handled. That's a chef's kiss right there. Both players lined up, but vertically, so you can't spray them down. They're not blocking each other's sight, and it's just impossible to win that duel when you inevitably swing for it. 1 round left to go, Tom. DFUSE fighting for their shot in playoffs. They don't want to go to the lower bracket and have to play another day, another opponent, and maybe not even make it there. They'll miss out on points that can potentially bring them all the way to the Champions Tour, the Champions event at the end of the year, right? The Champions stage. We don't want that. You don't want to give up points at this stage when the next Masters is set to be international. It gets so much harder. This is where you want to pick them up, right here and now.
Oh my goodness, these are the plays we like to see from Angel. He gets caught for it, but if you're Logan, you got to be tilted off the face of the earth. Now, they don't actually have the res just yet. Takas is only 1 away, and he is looking around to see if he can spot any further aggression, but there isn't going to be had this time. Now, in terms of ults, we've only got 1 onto DMSIC, and sure, the neural theft can be great in retakes, but other than that, a little bit useless. So I doubt we're going to see much impact from that at all. They're also going to start clearing out the back of the B site, but for now at least, not really going to spot anything out. Logan, he's brought back from the fray as well. So now, in a 5v4 situation, they are close, Mitch.
I don't know if you've noticed, but Hoppy's changed the color of his crosshair as well. I don't know what, is that like a, does it help? Does it change things? Who knows? But let's see if it has any effect on this round. That res under Logan is huge, man. Getting Logan back into the fight. This is the guy you want if you're left in a clutch situation. Let's keep an eye on that if it comes to pay dividends later on. Zipan takes out Akuma. That's the A site secure now. They spot players crossing Shadow. They might actually think that backside is clear. They're going to clear it anyways, but Shadow, good for the first. We talked about him before, and Xiao's here to help out. Oh, they're falling like dominoes, and it's done. A catastrophe for DFUSE. They fail to check back sight. They get peeked by Shadow, and they go out of this game now 13-11, 2-0, as DFUSE go on to the lower bracket, and FPX confirm their spot in the